Oh, welcome back. Gonna do something slightly different this week. Recording this as a vlog style video. This is my preparation for the game room update. So I thought I'd start off with just recording how the room looks. You can see the entertainment unit is a right mess. Everything is crammed in and there's not much space. It doesn't look great. There's no symmetry and it's all just very cluttered. You can see I've got quite a bit of Lego. Not sure what happened with the autofocus on this. Camera's gone doolally. But yeah, you can see the layout with the consoles, all the cables, the lights. The top of the unit is stacked with controllers, PS5, my amp, and then moving around to the other side of the room, there is my Star Wars UCS collection, and then the Billy shelves where I keep my games. So the first step is I'm going to move or relocate all of the Star Wars UCS sets, which is a shame because as you can see, they look pretty cool. But yeah, then they don't quite fit. Okay, so you can see the incremental update since last time. So getting rid of all the Lego. I've stacked up some of the games on the wall to see how it looks, and there's a few things which are problematic with what I've got. You can see there's this gap in between, the third SNES row and the shelf that is above, and it's ever too slightly small to fit a fourth game in, which is a real shame because then it just looks like wasted space. And then the other issue I've got, well, there's two issues, I suppose. The size of this shelf protrudes somewhat from the wall, so it does kind of block out seeing the bottom row of Game Boy games, which I'm not really that happy about because unless you're, The Undertaker, essentially, you're not going to see the top row very easily. My intention was to put the Game Boys out on the top row, obviously because it just matches the Game Boy games, right? But having done so, especially with a bigger DMG, which you can see at the bottom there, it really does block out the games behind it, so I might have to change that plan. And then the final issue we've got is clearly you can see that the SNES games do go around the wall quite a bit, but obviously the Game Boy, with the shelf being smaller, it doesn't go around as much, so you end up with this big spare bit of blank wall just above there, which I could try and stack up the SNES games, but they don't seem to go above 4 high very easily. So current strategy, I think, is to rip out the top row of shelving and replace that, and then also down below you can see this gap just above where the sofa is. If you can get that to focus. And obviously we've got SNES and Game Boy but no N64, so I'm thinking I'm gonna put some N64 games there just to fill that space a little bit, and then overall eventually we'll be left with just a big solid wall full of games. So that's the plan. We'll see how it goes and I'll give you an update after it's done. Okay, so part 3 maybe of the games room update. If I sit here, what do you think my issue with the way that this looks at the moment is? If I lean as far back as I can. So clearly A, it's an absolute fucking mess. Yeah, that is my fault. But B, it's not symmetrical at all, and there's way too much stuff crammed in. You'll see down here I've got this little stand that used to be where the TV is, so that's kind of sat out in the middle of nowhere. However, I don't think I'm going to be able to get away with that. So my main issue with the current Kallax unit is I've had to dump the amp, the AV amp receiver on the top, and the PS5 has got to stand up over there. The whole thing is not symmetrical, which I think looks like trash. You can see where the TV is. The unit is offset to the left, and this is all because, courtesy of Goldmember, I got this, quite frankly, awesome 34-inch Toshiba. It is absolutely beautiful, no regrets there. But essentially that has facilitated this I guess the feng shui with the current setup is really bad. So the thinking is I'm going to slice off this portion of the Kallax. You can see this was a Retroroid DIY job. Yeah, that's fastened on using some brackets. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I'll turn the Kallax back into a 4x2. I'll then shift the entire Kallax to the left, and by doing that it should mean that the door, which is currently really restricted in its access, opens up somewhat, so that'll be quite nice. And then I'll move the amp and the PS5 onto this little unit on the side, so that'll free up the top of the unit. And then the two speakers, the 5.1.2 speakers, I'm going to mount them on the wall next to the TV. And I'm going to move the TV, or I'm going to offset the TV to the left. So then we might be able to get some sort of semblance of symmetry back. And then the other thing I don't like is the fact that, do you know what I mean, if you look at that, how close butted up the end of the unit is to the CRT, it's not very good. And also the CRT is kind of pointed not really to the sofas, so by getting rid of the one on the left, shifting the whole thing to the left somewhat, that means I'll be able to rotate the TV around somewhat, so it's facing more into where the sofas are. Yeah, so at the moment it's facing over there, so that's not very good. So yeah, that is today's job for the afternoon. Wish me luck. I'll see you when it's all done.